Hello everybody, and welcome to this instructional video where I will show you guys how to use Academic Writer from APA to easily create an APA style reference list. So first of all, make sure you use the link that I've provided you, which will take you to this website here, this web page. If you try to Google Academic Writer, then you might not be able to access it because we have special access through the Ohio University Library. So use the link I've provided you. When you come to this page, click the big purple Connect button. And that will take you here to Academic Writer. There's a lot of stuff, but you don't need to use it all. Basically, just scroll down here to where it says Reference, because we want to create references. And click Add Reference. And now I'll tell you, the first time you do this, you will have to create an account. I recommend just using your Ohio University email, but it is pretty quick. Once you've created the account, you should be able to log in here. And so you'll see that when you're creating a reference for one of your sources, the first thing you have to do is select the type of reference. So my first reference is the one I found here on Articles Plus, and it is, I know it's an academic journal article because that's what I searched for. So when I come here, I'll look first under periodicals. There is journal article. So that's what I'll select for my academic journal source. And then basically what this program does is it asks me for the information, and I put it in, and as long as I put it in correctly, it will do the work for me of creating a properly formatted reference. So I found my academic journal article here through Articles Plus, but I'm actually going to look at the article itself to get the information. So here is my article, my academic journal article. Now in Academic Writer, basically I want to go through and I want to fill in all of these boxes. So under reference type, I'm good. It says journal article. I'll stay with default. Authorship, yes, the author's name is available. So next I have to get into the author. And you'll see when I get to this box, they tell you, they give you instructions, last name. So first I need the author's last name. So I look at my source, and I see Ryuko Kubota. Ryuko Kubota. So Kubota is going to be the last name. So I go back, and I type Kubota into that box. Next, you can see it's asking me for initials. And it gives an example, N period, W period. So I look again, Ryuko Kubota. So the first name, I just need the R. So I will type R period. And now I'm good. I can click Save and Format. And once I've done that, you'll notice over here it's created an author list. And it's got Kubota, R for the author. My source only has one author, so I'm done. But many sources will have more than one author. If that's the case, you just keep writing their names in the list, and each time you hit Save and Format, and it will create that author list for you. Next, it's asking me for the date, so it wants the year of publication. So I go to my source, and I can see here it says published online, March 12, 2014. So I'll go back here, and I will type 2014. Next, it wants the title of the article. So I will simply go back and I will copy and paste the title of the article. And now one thing, again, that I really like about Academic Writer is it will automatically format things correctly for you if you just push this button. So I'll click this button that says Format in Sentence Case. And that means the first letter will be capital and every other letter will be lowercase. But one thing that's important, there's a red message here. And it says, please review and capitalize any proper nouns and acronyms. So you still have to double check. So see, race and language learning in multicultural. Canada. Canada is the name of a country, which means it has to be capital C. All right, so now it looks good. So always double check things like that. Next, your source. So for your source, they want the name of the journal. So again, I'll go back over here, and I see up here at the top, I see Journal of Multilingual and Multicultural Development. So I will copy that, paste it. Okay. Oh, and I noticed something strange happened. It says Journal of Multilingual and Multicultural. So I will just delete that first journal. And then again, I'll click this little button to format it in title case, and then almost all the words are capitalized, and so it looks good. Next, it's asking me for something called the volume. So I'll go back to my source. I'll search around, and I see up here, next to the title, see volume 36. So I put in my number, 36. Next, it's asking for something called issue. Okay, I see issue 1. Well, it gave me an issue, so I'll check this box to include the issue number, and I'll put in 1. Next, it's asking first page, last page. So again, I see, let's see, where do I see? Under the author's name, I see pages 3 to 12. So first page, I put in 3. Last page, I put in 12. And then the last thing it's going to ask me for is something like a link. So sometimes you'll use a URL just like you would to get to any website, but for an academic journal article, a DOI is actually better. And I won't explain why, because whatever, it's a lot of extra detail. But if a DOI is available, I recommend that. So I'm going to go back to the Articles Plus entry and look to see if it provides, and here I see a DOI. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that DOI number. Back here in Academic Writer, I'll click DOI, I'll paste that there. Basically, a DOI is a way of finding any article online, and it's much more reliable than a URL for academic journal articles. Abstract I can skip, notes I can skip, those are just optional. And now I'm good, so I'll click the Add to My References button. And you'll notice right away, it gives me a nicely formatted reference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that reference, and I'm going to go to my Microsoft Word document that I already have open, paste it in there. And this is a little trick that I recommend because this will make your life much easier. Whenever you paste something into Microsoft Word, especially in this, look for this little thing here, this clipboard. And I'm going to choose the option that says Keep Text Only. There we go. For some strange reason, it's bold, and I don't want it to be bold. So, okay. So now that looks much nicer than it would otherwise look. I've got my first reference for an academic journal article. However, I want to show you guys how to create other types of references as well, because for most projects, you'll need multiple types of references. So, I'm going to add another reference. And the next reference that I want to do, I have a blog post that I'm also going to be using as a primary source option for this project. So here is my blog, Raising Race-Conscious Children, and I've got this one called Why I Talk About Race When I Read with My Toddler. So going back here, since this is a blog, again, when I look through the different types of references, I'm looking for the very last one is websites, social media, and other online materials. So I see the second option there is blog post. So I'll select that as my source type. And again, first thing I'm looking for is the author. So if I go back to my blog source, I can see by Sachi Ferris. So that's the name I'll put in, Sachi Ferris. I'll put in the last name, which is Ferris. And the initials again, S period. Sometimes a blog will have a screen name, in this case it doesn't. So I'll click Save and Format, and then I can see again in my author list, Ferris S. And again, if there was another author, then if there were two authors, I'd put in the next author's name and save it. But there's not, there's only one. So I'll move on to the publication date. So I'll look to see when this was published. Oh, and I see right here, January 9th, 2015. So go back to Academic Writer. 2015 is what I'll put in. January, what was it, 15th? January 19th. January 19th. Got to be accurate. 2015, okay. And the title of the blog post. So here's the title of the blog post. Oops. I'll copy that and I'll paste it. And again, I'll format it. I'll click this button because you'll notice it's all caps right now. And that's not what I want in my APA style citation. So I click this, and now it looks good for an APA style citation. Oh, except why I, capitalize I, when I talk about this when I read for my toddler. Now it looks good for an APA citation. And next, the source. So for this, I can just copy and paste the URL. So I copy it right up here in my navigation bar. Notice the HTTP is in there, so I'll delete that just to make sure there's no problem there. And I can skip the description. I can skip the notes. I don't need those today. I'll add it to my references. And bada bing, bada boom. Again, I've got my APA style reference. So I'll copy that. Oops, keep going the wrong direction. And I'll paste it into my reference list. And again, I'll choose the option to keep text only. And now it looks like a nicely formatted APA style citation. And I have one more to do. So I will add another reference because I want to show you guys my third source for this particular project is a TED Talk. So here is my TED Talk called Colorblind or Color Brave. Speaker is Melody Hobson here. So when I go to Academic Writer, I will look. There's a couple ways I could find this, but I'm looking at since it's a video, I see audio visual media, and under that I see the second one is streaming or other online video for anything from YouTube, Vimeo, in this case from TED.com. This would be the way to do it. So I'll click that type of source. And so first, authorship. So again, we need the author. And so for a TED Talk, the author is going to be the speaker, the person speaking. And so this is Melody Hobson. I'll put in her name. Let's see, Hobson. And M period for her first. So save and format. And again, got Hobson M for my author. The date. So let's see if I can find a date for this one. Let's see, what I've got is March 2014. So that's I don't have the specific day, but that's fine. I will simply put in what the source provides. 2014. I'll put in March, and I'll see what happens. Next is the title of the video. Let's see, Colorblind or Color Brave. In this case, I can't copy and paste it because it's actually on the video, so I'll have to type it. Let's see. Color blind or color brave. There's a question mark. I'll include it. And then again, I'll click my format in sentence case. In this case, it looks fine. Colorblind or color brave. Next, you want the website. So again, I will just go to my navigation bar, and I'll copy, I'll paste, double checking that, HTTP doesn't, and I can skip the description, the notes. I'll add this to my references. Okay, and it looks good. I copy it. I paste it. Choose my keep text only option. Okay, and so now I've got my references, and I'm nearly done. But there's two things that are very important, so that my references will actually be properly formatted. And the first thing is I have to worry about indentation. And so when you're writing a paragraph, you know how you go to the first line, you hit tab? and it moves the first line forward. So that's how you indent a paragraph. With a reference, it's actually the opposite. What you want is for the first line to be all the way to the left, and you want these next two lines, you want these to be indented and moved in. And so I'll show you a trick for how to do this. So first I'm going to highlight all of my references, and then I go up here to where the ruler is in Microsoft Word, and I'm going to grab that second arrow, the one on the bottom where it says left margin, and very important, I have to be holding the shift key when I do this. I hold shift and I click and I drag this over to 1/2 inch right there. And now this is what my reference list should look like. The first line should be on the left, and any line after that should be indented. And so if you use this, if you use the ruler up here, it'll make your life much easier. Don't try to do it by hitting enter and space. It'll make everything a mess. And there's one last thing. An APA style reference list needs to be in alphabetical order. So you'll notice I've got Kubota, Ferris, Hobson. Actually, Ferris should be first in alphabetical order, Hobson should be second, and Kubota should be third. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to cut and paste to put it at the end. Oops, move this one up to the top. Okay, now I don't know what happened there. Okay, so now I've got a proper APA style reference list. It says references at the top, and in the middle in bold, I've got all of my properly created APA style reference entries, and I've got them in alphabetical order. And I've got the second line. I've got the hanging indent, is what they call it, where the second lines are indented. So this is an APA style reference list, and this is how you can create it using this wonderful website, Academic Writer. And just to let you know, after you've created them the first time, if you come back in and go to the My References or Manage My References, every reference you've ever created on this website will still be there. And so you could go back later and grab these in the future. You don't have to go through that full process every time. So this is how to use Academic Writer to create your APA style reference list. Thank you for watching.